So I am here in the sense that, like you can see the movement on the camera. I am here. I appreciate you can't see me. My mental health has been pretty bad now for a few it's just been bad. It's bad all the time, but just in an assessment of the situation, there was no room left for me to really feel that if I carried on in the same vein and direction, life would be supporting me, because it was like I have a relationship with life. In other words, I run into myself, to my circumstances in life, and I try to read life and divine from life direction. Forget about karma in those elements, because if you start doing it for the sake of karma, if I do, life is beating me, it must mean I'm doing this wrong and that wrong. I try and look at it more in the perspective of life is beating me, I'm doing something wrong, and then I can look at my life as a whole and make a informed, educated, mature decision, instead of so simplistically using the idea of karma, which is a bit more holistic. Plus, with karma, you can get into ego, because it's like, if I constantly look at my life in terms of karma, it's a case of right, I want good things. And I remember last time I did this, that and the other, I got good things. So you're looking at it in terms of good and bad, positive and negative, clearing karma, building karma. And you can start to apply ego into that element, whereas you're still applying ego from the other perspective, but it's an honest ego in terms of life. Because you have to live, you have to be alive. And of course it would be nice to have more nicer things in life, but that's not the point of why you're ascertaining from life. The whole brilliance about being alive is that it's a mystery, and you want to keep it a mystery as much as possible. You don't want to know what's going to come as much as possible. And only when life hurts do you look at that element in life and say, right, you're hurting me, I need to address you, make changes in the smallest possible way. It's a bit like when you see those Zen masters and they've got a bonsai tree in front of them. The idea is to take as little of the life out of the bonsai tree as possible, to prune it into beauty. And that's what you want to do with life. Apply as little of it. Well, this is what I do anyway. This is my approach. Just to apply as little of my mind as possible that I view as broken and corrupted and the problem as possible. And then when I have space in life, I'm a bit more honest again. I don't go through the idea of karma in terms of, oh, let's give some energy to receive some energy sort of thing. It's a case of just looking at my life and thinking, oh, I have an area of space in my life at the moment. It's not as troubled as it's been in the past. It's not as pressured. I don't have as much stresses, and there's an opportunity to live for a week, for a month, however long. And in that place you take advantage of it. you say, right, let's be kind to myself. Let's lift my spirits for that cold period that's going to come after this warm period. And you allow yourself life that way. So that's my approach. And I've been making all these changes, and I appreciate the level of change I was making on this occasion. It was a bit like I knew that life wouldn't respond straight away. It would take life a little bit of time for me to see any positive changes, because I was so far in the ditch, so to speak, when I began these changes. But after living them for a while, I started reflecting, and I realised that I'm lying to myself so much. I must be so far in the ditch, because I'm having to ignore a lot of pain and injustices just to get to the next moment and give this mental application for positive change in my life a chance. But it was painful to ignore the pain, because I know better than to ignore the pain. I know to look at the pain and use it as a reference to see life, to see what life is trying to say to me. And if it's too painful, it's normally time to make a change. So I'm not accustomed to going through that amount of injustice without making or addressing it through action. I don't know if that makes sense. So in other words, I've made a decision to implement positive change, and that's the overriding decision in all my decision making. And as a result of that overriding predominant decision to apply elements of positive change to my life, I have to ignore some of the more everyday in your face problems to keep the action plan together and going. But there's only so many of them that you can ignore before you realise, actually, no, I need to listen to this, I need to address my life. And that's sort of what's happened again. So I found myself in this place. I sort of put a band-aid plaster on it to get me through a few days where I could just give myself some space to think, and then it happened again. Life didn't give me the chance to think about a resolution for the problems. So I kind of listened to life in that sense, and I have to be honest about the situation. The situation is overwhelming. The situation is too much for me to deal with and cope with in the moment. So I said to myself yesterday, sod it. This isn't worth a thing. I know the pressures, I know the seriousness of my circumstance right now, despite whatever limited truthfulness there is in my emotions and what my eyes are perceiving of the world. I know the seriousness and the pain in my present moment. I for that reason, I've done something unprecedented. I've said to myself, right, life is really being fucked up at the moment. If ever there was a time to be depressed, feel down, do nothing, lie in bed all day, you never want to wallow in depression, but wallowing in depression is a natural part of being depressed. So you connect to it on an energetic level or some level, but I don't allow myself to really drink the depression in. That's not something I can enjoy even at any level. And I got up today and my mental health, well, it still hasn't finished beating me from yesterday, first of all, my mental health. That's why we're in darkness, is because I needed to eat, I needed to do a few things last night, put the generator on so I could charge the batteries for light. Well, I'm waiting to I've just finished eating now. I'm going to do a few things. And the generator will have to come on later to charge the batteries for light. I woke up, I got up today. I was allowed to get up and go to the kitchen. And then there was that weekend feeling in the air. Feelings from 2006 flooding back when I had a boat in the past. And I was allowed to enjoy at least the weather and the atmosphere of being on the canals from afar, whereas I've not been allowed to do that this time. And, I looked around, the sun was shining through the two small windows I have in the kitchen. Looked like a nice day. I saw a pile of screws there. I looked around and it's like I could see all the DIY work that needs to be done on the boat, and that for me is life, really, in so many ways. One, I just enjoyed doing that. My dad was a builder and I spent time on building sites as a kid, and I enjoyed DIY. It's like a more testosterone based form of artwork. That's how I look at it. Plus, every time I do some artwork, my life improves, because I'm living in a jigsaw puzzle at the moment, because I know where everything goes. I've got most of the bits for it. It's not like I've got to spend a lot of money to get it finished. I've just got to be able to do it. My mental health and life have to give me that chance. And in full health, well, not even in full health, just with my physical health in check and my mental health not having my physical health as a burden to it, making it worse, I'd have completed the boat. It'd be like a one-bedroom floating flat by now. I would have finished it. God, last year in September, I would have had the summer with no sun. Or how much sun was there? I don't think there was a lot of sun. Can't remember. And, but where I am at the moment, it's a case of I know all the jobs that need to be done. I know I'm able to carry out 99% of the work, and I just need one person to come in one day to connect the gas up. And the work's enjoyable. It's all stuff I can do, and that's, as long as I know I can do it, I can enjoy it. That's all that I need to do. That's all I need from it. So I looked around and there was all those feelings like, forget the depression, just get on with this. And in honesty, it's tempting, man. I was like, should I? Should I just forget the depression and get on with stuff? Am I being silly? And I recap my life and my circumstance, and I know that even on that level of lightness to life, I need to make a precedent and say no, because that's been a big pressure over the past year to get on with the work and complete the work. And somehow I'm not a psychologist, I don't really like psychology, but I'm sure there's some sort of contributing factor between feeling that I need to get on and the problems in my life. And I just get the feeling as well, I get the sense in the way everything's occurred that allowing myself just to enter that state of depression, a truthful state, would be helpful. But in honesty, I don't want to be depressed. And in honesty, I know I'm never going to be allowed to be depressed for longer than I need to be. So in other words, it's not a solution in itself. My mental health is always going to keep me up and active. I'm never going to be allowed to wallow in depression. I know that's the line to draw at the moment. And I have to be proactive in finding a solution, finding another band-aid. I'm going to look like a walking mummy with plasters all around me, you know, covering up all the wounds. And whatever they hold in their hands, the mummies, would be tools to just make a pot of tea, you know, where my hands are all cut up and I'm not able to use them. I have to use disability aids. But I thought, I'm depressed at the moment, why not make a live stream and give a bit of energy, because I seem more productive at the moment on live streams, trying to find solutions to my problems than I can chatting to myself or having a think in my head. And if I keep making a few live streams over the next few days, maybe I'll find a solution. And what could be 1 or 2 weeks of me out of action might be a day, might be 2 days, might be just this live stream. And for that reason, it's worthwhile to put it on. So I've ordered 25 litres of aloe vera juice. The reason is because, what was it, last month? Yeah, I think it was last month. I was being troubled by my eyes. For the collective psychosis, I was on the worst aeroplane flight in history. And the place where I ended up was like a crash landing. was like I was the Elephant Man or something, you know. It felt like my left leg was my right arm, my right leg was my nose, my left arm was my stomach, my torso had now become my hand, that sort of thing. I was, it's like being teleported. I said it on a live stream before. It's like being teleported on the Star Trek series, and you end up in your the place where you're meant to be teleported to, but you've been teleported, and there's something wrong with the teleportation process, and your body's all a bit, well, let's just say higgledy-piggledy, all over the shop, not in the right place, and you radio back to, what's it called, the command deck, the mission control, on the Star Trek Enterprise, I can't remember. And you say to them, look, there's been a problem with the teleportation process. Fix it. And my radio to the command deck was a call to my uncle, and he came round and he was asking me questions, not that we got far. He said, look, well, what can help? And in that moment of pain and distress, I was very clear in my answer, which I was surprised about, because I've been at a loss how to treat my health. And I was very clear. I said to my uncle, I need £120 of aloe vera. And I've since sold my old boat, got pennies for what it was, for what I should have got, but very glad to have seen it gone. And with that money, I've purchased 25 litres of aloe vera juice, which is double what I thought I'd get for £120, for £20 more. It's designed for horses, but to be honest, with some of the ingredients they put in the stuff designed for humans, I made my decision that this was the better option. Plus you get double the amount. So, and I've done it before, and I've not had any problems when I drank aloe vera juice designed for horses before. So I've ordered it, I've made it into a tonic, I've put some amino acids in there, some other things to boost my body that my body desperately needs. And I think if I drink a litre a day for the next 25 days or whatever, I should be able to get some health back. So I'm stating the positives to my circumstance at the moment. And I've also purchased a TENS device. They're not expensive, they're about 20 to 40 quid on Amazon. And with my autism, with my mental health affecting my senses, and my ability to feel fluctuating, I found the TENS device is very, very helpful, calming my anxieties. And obviously I'm a previously, well, not obviously, but I'm a previously trained alternative therapist, so that's where my mind is, that's how my mind goes when it's in terms of health. I've got a mind for that. Area of life, in other words, managing my own health and healing myself. So the TENS devices and the aloe vera are an emergency action plan for my health, to get some sort of stability and healing into my body. desperately needed. And in honesty, I think I'm going to leave it there. I've brought myself to the present moment. I've said some positives, and I might just sit in that energy for today, and hopefully a live stream tomorrow will bear fruit, bear an answer. So maybe catch you then with some light.